Alright guys, welcome to Build. My name's Chase. This week on the Datsun, we're going to put the F in Fatsun. I've been really excited about this part of the build. It's kind of a small thing, but I think it's going to be awesome. Also, we are very close to driving this truck, so we're going to see if we can monitor some things with this kind of all-in-one gauge cluster, get this fitted, and see if we can light it up. Challenge number one is getting the Datsun bed back in the garage by myself. See if I can move it. So I believe this is my quick solution to moving the bed by myself. I had a couple of big casters that are actually for another little project and a big piece of scrap that was just laying around the outside of the shop. So the first thing we've got to do is cut out the excess metal. We've got to kind of mark off what we'll need to get rid of and what we'll need to keep. Alright guys, so I got the first little piece in here. I don't do any sheet metal welding, I don't know much about it. So I just kind of tacked around until I had it all stitched into one piece, and now I'll sand it down to the shape I want. If you know more about this, and you can comment below and give me some pointers, I'd love advice on how to make this go a little smoother in the future. So now I just need to get this filled back in before I can start sanding all this down and trying to turn it into something a little bit smoother. Right now the plan for that is to take a little piece of scrap. I'll have to cut it down and kind of shape it to fit behind here. And I will draw that out, hopefully be able to set it right in place, tack it up, stitch all the welding together, and then sand it smooth and get the shape we need. So now I just have to cut that out. That'll be fun. Alright, we're in here really close now. I can make a few tick marks. Should knock all these burrs off first. Make a few tick marks and I think we'll be there. I believe I've got it pretty close now. Close enough that I'm just going to try to tack it in place and start working my way around. Something about like that. Again, I'm no sheet metal guy. I'm just gonna see what I can do. Well, of all things, a Nismo performance magnet is what is gonna hold this in place for me to tack it. And typically I don't mind gaps to fill, but I have a feeling it's not going to be great with sheet metal. Really excited about how this turned out. Again, if you have any advice for me on welding sheet metal, filler panels and things like this, it's not something I've done a lot of. Just leave a comment down here and let me know. I'm definitely open to advice. Caleb will finish this up and get the bevels cleaned up, and it'll be the Fatsun. I'm really excited. Never been this excited to get an F on anything in my life. So if you've been following the series, you've probably seen this piece. It was supposed to be kind of the bezel for the gauge cluster. It was going to go over here, but honestly it's clunky. It's just that much more weight. As you all know, this is not a light truck. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good with the truck, doesn't look good with the gauges. So these are the gauges that we landed on. It is everything we need in one unit, and it's going to land right here. This is going to be the permanent home, so let's see if we can get it mounted. So I apologize for the lighting in here. I don't have the overhead light in here right now that I've been using. So we're just going to hold this up, try to kind of determine the height we would want this to sit. I like it about right here. So I'm just going to make a mark that would represent about where I want the top. Then we're going to try to get this leveled out versus the tubing of the truck. So what I'm looking at here is about 2 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to move over here and transfer that measurement. 2 3/4. Move over here, transfer that measurement, and I see a problem already. I did not make any kind of a measurement here. So let's do that. I'm going to come off of this 7.5 inches both sides so that we know this is in the same place, and we'll double check that. I may have to move those lines. Those showing the same. Yeah, all it did was move it back 1/4 inch, so we're good there. Now we need to find our center point. So between the apexes we have 14 3/4. So it's going to be 7 3/8 for a center. Now we can take our gauge cluster and just measure from the center out. 7 inches center to center. So we're going to need 3.5 inches on either side. So we'll measure 3.5 inches from that center point. Let's get this thing drilled out. I'm going to include this set of switches so that we can get to it without any trouble or having to take this apart. So the hope here is that the wiring will go through. This set of switches will remain accessible from the back, as will this knob. The plan there would be to build something into the back that we can just unscrew, pull off, and access this a little more easily than actually having to disassemble the gauge cluster. Now I'm just going to cover up these metal edges and everything so I don't have to worry about it while I'm sorting out all the mounting. I believe that's got us covered. The back of this is all exposed, so I don't want to accidentally ground anything out and ruin this, that's for sure. Alright, I've got some temporary leads to actually power this thing up. We have the 1-bolt assembly that's just all the way together. It doesn't actually hit anything here. So that's going to keep these two together. Then I'm going to throw some tape over these two so they can't get knocked out while I'm trying to settle all this in. If I knew that this was the final fit, it was never coming apart again, I would probably put like a little dab of super glue or something on all these layers. There's so many of them. That's it for the gauges. This is the permanent home for the gauge cluster. When we finish the interior out, this will get some kind of trim, beauty ring to make it look a little bit more finished. As we put this engine harness and everything back in, we'll wire it all into the gauge cluster. We'll have our switches here and our push buttons. So we'd hit a switch and that's power to the gauge cluster. We have our voltage, oil, speedometer, tach, temperature, and fuel. We also have a odometer, trip meter combination there that I like a lot. And this is really cool, guys. I mean, I think it fits the truck really well. It matches all the lines. Pretty excited about it. All right, that's it for this week, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, watching to the end of these videos. It makes a huge difference for the algorithm. I'm really stoked about this. I've been waiting for months to do this to the tailgate. I'm really happy about how this gauge cluster has turned out. That center mount just looks so much better than the little bezel we had made before. Again, thank y'all so much for watching these videos to the end. If you want to take it a step farther, we have a join button now. It's only 99 cents a month, and it just makes a huge difference in everything we do, and be able to bring quality content and be consistent with the content. What's the secret word of the week, Chase? How about ignition? Ignition. All right, so put that in the comments, and let's see what we can do with this truck next week.